Hey, what up YouTube? Yet another fine repair video. This being an Insignia 50L240A13, and an Insignia, not really like a top name brand or anything like Samsung or Toshiba or Sony or anything like that. Insignia is actually Best Buy's in-house brand, but still, I mean, this gentleman paid $500 for his TV and got just over a year out of it. Went to turn it on one day and it's just deader than a doornail. So I'm suspecting a power supply issue, so you got to turn it on and absolutely nothing happens. It's just toast. No matter what you do, go around the front and of course it's black. So we're going to dig a little deeper here. Obviously now power supply issue is the first thing that jumps out at you, but one thing I do not like about this model in particular after doing my research is just because you have no power, like it's deader than a doornail, there's not even a standby light on the front of the television, that does not mean right away you should assume it's a power supply issue. And this is the reason here. This is the digital main board. This digital main board actually controls the 5-volt standby light, which of course runs down there, which is how you turn on the unit if you weren't using the remote control. And that's where the standby LED light is also on this board over here. But yeah, it can very well throw you off. So a lot of people just assume right away, I've got no power, it's got to be a bad power supply. But that's not always the case, especially with these Insignias, because this does a lot of the powering up too. So it's going to be brain tickler, but I'm going to rip this power supply board down. And you're looking at the back of the LCD, and there's really not much to it. You got your T-COM board tucked away there. You've got your power supply board. And you've got your digital main, which is a lot less complex than a plasma television. So I'm going to focus my attention on there and see if I can find anything hokey. Okay, to throw a wrench in things, I've got 5-volt standby, which is at this pin here. Obviously it's not plugged in right now, but let me get focused and in. That's where you want to concern yourself with that 5VSB. That stands for 5-volt standby. So it is outputting 5-volt standby to the digital main board. But I did notice something as I'm measuring components. Everything seems okay, so it is a brain tickler. One thing that is throwing me off here is if you come to the top of the board, get down there, you can see that. Hopefully you can see it on your TV there. That right beside that capacitor, that top capacitor there, there's a burn mark. Okay, and you know that offers you some visual evidence that something got too hot here, but on the back side of it, where the burn mark exists, we've got some ICs, and they measure okay, but I'm going to go with my gut on this, and I'm going to recommend to the customer to purchase a replacement power supply board. Now, most of the used, confirmed good power supply boards that I could find on eBay, they wanted like $75 to $100 a piece, which is, yeah, it might be a little insane just because they shouldn't be that much, especially if they're used. But Best Buy, they've actually got a parts store, and it's called partstore.com, and it's a Best Buy supplier for parts, which I don't know is a good sign or a bad sign that they sell replacement parts for their in-house brand TVs. But I was able to find one online, so the customer got this with free shipping. Power board, and it came to $53, which is pretty reasonable if we're relatively sure, especially with that visual evidence of that IC cooking and burn marks on the board. I'm relatively sure that that is the problem, so we're going to go ahead and order that, and hopefully a new power supply board is going to breathe new life into this Insignia. Yeah, I'm not very impressed with this. I don't know if it was damaged during shipping or a crack on the end. I'm praying to God that's not going to affect performance. It shouldn't, but yeah, that's very poorly shipped. And welcome back. We've fast forwarded much further in time. So here is the dead power supply board that we're pretty sure is dead. And again, it's because of this dark mark there. Something wasn't very happy there. So yeah, I just installed the replacement board, and we're going to fire this up, and while I'm doing this, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And that's a much better sign. When this television's working properly, you should have that very common red standby light on the bottom corner of the screen, which we got Oh, I see some backlight, and that is a great sign. Let's go to the front here. We got some juice, we got some power. And we've got some cartoons. We got a repair television for 53 bucks. So again, man, I just can't believe people will bring these down to the recycle bin for the sake of $53. And wasn't even a used board. This was a brand new replacement power supply board. So Daryl, my man, you don't know it yet, but I'm going to pick up the phone and tell you that your TV's ready to go. That was a cheap repair. Everybody's happy. Loving it.